So let me get this straight. A girl pop band versus a boy pop band decides the fate of the entire world, and yet somehow, wrapped up in this crazy adventure, we have a down to earth lesson about self acceptance, overcoming your fears, and past regrets, all wrapped up in a visually nice, different animation style and a genuine good character with a couple of good jokes along the way and a few tunes, a breath of fresh air, and a sea of drowning creativity. Let's review K-pop Demon Hunter. Get your kid ass out of here. Okay, so this is a brand new style of video for me that I want to make a running side quest on my channel. Hello, I'm Discord J Knight, and I normally am just a MOP YouTuber, but in all honesty, I have many interests, and while most of this channel will always be MOP related, I really wanted to talk about this movie. And if you guys want to hear more videos like this, talking more about other movies and TV shows other than just MOP, let me know, because I'd love to branch out, and I have tons and tons of other TV shows and movies I would love to talk about. I think it would be actually really good for the channel if I started doing that as well. Okay, so let's get down to business. I'm on 28, and I don't want this to turn into another one of those back in my day type of stories. But back in my day, shut up, G4. When I was a child, there were so many movies to explore, constantly coming out with amazing visuals and even better storytelling, characters, and lessons. And it makes you wonder, what is the most important part of a story? Is it the lesson? Is it the characters, or the journey to get there? And in my opinion, a good story with just a bland cast is not entertaining, and vice versa. So is the lesson the most important part? Well, no, because if you just focus on that, then you come off looking like you're just pointing at the audience and insulting them. No, there has to be a good blend between all three aspects. And back then, stories were very good at focusing on these aspects and presenting these aspects to the audience. But in recent years, that creativity has stalled to an alarming halt, resulting in poor production knockoffs of the original ideas. And no, remaking something, reinventing something is not the issue. It's how you execute it. Changing everything to an unbelievable pointless amount where, in all honesty, it would have been better if you just had started from scratch. You changed so much of the story in the first place, you should have just made it completely different and called it something else. No, I'm going to get there, G4. The fact is, back in my day, the world wasn't just full of the old. It was also full of the new. A literal golden age of creativity and entertainment. And it's sad to see that die. And I have felt like I have been drowning for a while, which is why I have become a creator myself, trying to make up my own stories and do my own projects, completely different from what's established, if not taking inspiration from what's already established as well. Mostly from MOP, because I love that show. But I have a niece and nephew, and when I look around the so-called new stuff, all I see is disappointing trash that I don't want my family watching. And don't get me wrong, there's always a chance to watch the old stuff too, and shows that back then that we grew up with. My father did that to me as well, showing me old Scooby-Doo and Hanna-Barbera cartoons. But it was nice to know there was also new shows and new cartoons, new creations coming out that were just for me. And I don't see that for my niece and nephew. My niece, however, she came to me telling me she wanted me to watch K-pop Demon Hunters and that she was amazed and loved everything about it. So much so that she wanted me to watch it too. Unfortunately, good Uncle Discord J Knights forgot about it for a few months, until recently. Literally, as soon as I watched it, I wanted to make this video, and I already started writing the script. I loved it that much. I had to write this. I had to make this video about it. I did have plans to eventually start reviewing some other movies, and I might as well, but I really wanted to start with this one, since it was practically requested by my family to do so. Here, I must ask a question. What made K-pop Demon Hunters great to me? And I have to be honest here, I am not really into the so-called pop music. I mean, as a kid in the early 2000s, I did like Hannah Montana, and I was a big fan of Drake and Josh, as well as his music, Drake's music from Drake and Josh. I loved Selena Gomez, and I was actually really into Mitchell Musso's music as well. Now that I look back and try to listen to their songs, I'm like, God, what was I thinking? I had no taste back then. And honestly, I realized that most of the girls, at least, probably even Mitchell Musso, I probably just had a thing for the girls and thought Mitchell Musso looked really cool. That is the only reason why I liked that music, which is hilarious. I definitely grew out of that phase, and as I became a teenager and a hardened adult, I am totally a rock guy, talking Red Light Kings and Aldea's Way or 1,000 Foot Crunch. Now, those are some real bands to listen to. K-pop, though, not my thing. I wanted to pull my ears off listening to soda pop. I did like Golden, though, so I guess I'm not completely against music in this movie, but it's not really the music that intrigues me. It's the story, especially through the lens of this is something I 100% would have loved as a child due to my bad taste in music. And now it's something that my niece can enjoy, something new, something that she discovered on her own and adores, and something that I can 100% get behind. The movie isn't bad either. It's not filled with girl bosses who are perfect and can do nothing wrong. It's not cluttered with propaganda related to our world's politics or climates, or stuffed with woke, inflated, sorry excuses for pandering just to make a statement against the hierarchy of the system. No, it's a simple story with good characters, a great lesson told in a down-to-earth, easy, understandable way for children and adults alike. It truly deserves the G rating for all audiences, and I argue all audiences should watch it. So what is it about? I blabbered on long enough about the outer world talking points. Let's actually finish this video talking about the movie itself. The main lead is Rumi fighting demons with her voice alongside her best friends, Zoe and Myra. And I'm sorry, some of these names are a little hard for me. In hopes of blasting away the demons forever, they plan to sing their biggest song ever, using their fans' love and joy to power their ultimate victory. In hopes to stop them, the Demon King makes a deal with Jin Yu, who wants his memories erased. The plan? Make a boy band that corrupts the fans' hearts away from the demon hunters so they can eat their souls, grow power, and take over the world. Yep, it's that type of movie. But turns out Rumi has a big secret. She's half demon and is hiding it. Jinyu finds out during the fight and tries to hide it himself so he can use it against her later. But slowly, as he starts generally connecting with her and questions his loyalty to the Demon King, turns out he's actually really ashamed of himself. And I would go into his backstory, but I don't want to spoil the entire film for you guys. However, what I can tell you is despite his shame, as well as Rumi's shame for hiding herself, and for that matter, just existing as half a demon, she generally tries to convince him that there is a chance of not just forgiveness, but self-forgiveness and redemption. However, working and meeting up with them in order to get this across doesn't bode well with her friends. They hate demons and want to destroy them. But after connecting with one and realizing that as a half-demon herself, Rumi questions whether or not they really are all bad. And more importantly, whether or not she is bad for who she is, prompting the idea that it isn't yourself that is bad. It isn't what you are that is bad. It's your choices. And in today's world, I think that is a fine lesson to teach not just kids, but a lot of adults need to realize this lesson as well. The fact is, it is our actions that paint us as who we are. And so many today show what kind of people they really are. But just like Jinyu, it always shows it's never too late to change, to have a change of heart and forgive yourself and do better. And through that, knowing Rumi ultimately decides to be herself and do the right thing. She may be a half demon, but it is her choices who make her who she is. Seeing their friends in danger, despite initially being wary of learning the truth, her friends join her in defeating the evil for good. That's my review. My rating is 7.5. It's not good enough for an 8, but it's way better than a 7. Though I know my niece thinks it's a 10. And I'm glad I watched it. And I'm glad there is finally something out there for my niece as well. It was indeed a breath of fresh air for me to see this. A nice reminder that there is still some good stories left to explore. Its animation is masterfully done. It's not just a copycat of every other animation you see out there. And the jokes range from charming to an eye roll. But I have to realize I am also an adult, and that's just my cynical view talking. In reality, I think kids would laugh their heads off at this and enjoy the fun, down-to-earth characters who are filled with true emotion and real care for each other. So that's my review. That's what made this great to me. The characters, the story, the down-to-earth moments of self-doubt, the mistake, and the real show of shame, self-acceptance, and moving on to the right thing, becoming a better person. A good 7.5 out of 10. Definitely one I recommend, even if you're like me and you're not really into the soundtrack that much. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget, my friends, friendship is magic, as well as forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness and redemption.